savory matzah brie. This is my first.
Oh, really? So
experience
do you always make sweet?
Yes.
Okay, so how do you make it?
Well, first of all, I put the matzah, I break it up and I put it in a colander and I
Okay,
run hot water over it.
right.
And then I kind of break it up until it gets a little bit soft. And then I add an egg, which I beat up, and a little milk, and very little salt, just a tad. And then I add either raisins or apples, or just leave it as I've mentioned.
Okay.
And I usually use a little margarine or butter. I have never tried it with oil. And then I do it in an electric fry pan.
Mm-hmm.
And I either break it up or do it in squares, whatever. And then I put a little syrup on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's a sweeter. I've never
Right.
thought about doing savory.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a whole new idea.
So when you did the sweeter, did you eat it for breakfast or
Yes. Oh, and
snack?
I add cinnamon.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
for me, it's for breakfast or lunch.
right.
And I'll make enough for 2 meals usually. So I'll do 2 or 3 pieces of matzah.
So did you serve it warm?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Make it all year, Marilyn? All year long?
You know, I could, but I make it usually special for Passover. But you certainly, I mean, I've got matzah left over and it does last. So I could. I don't know why I forget about it during the year.
Yeah. So have you ever tried it savory?
No,
like-
I've never. Have you guys, the Blairs, have you ever done it that way?
No, no.
So how do you do
Always
it?
with the syrup.
Oh, you do it with syrup also, Frida?
And
And
it's always been, for breakfast, instead of, with eggs or without eggs or whatever. But it's just a breakfast dish for me.
mm-hmm. So you make the eggs separately and then make the matzah sweet?
I really like to do what Marilyn does. I just throw everything in together and fry it like pancakes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mhm.
So who taught you both the recipe?
Basically, for me, it was just watching my mother.
Mhm.
And then she didn't add raisins and she didn't add apple, but that's something that I've done.
Mhm.
Just because I like raisins and I like apples and I figure I'm getting, my fruit fix. And
Yeah.
I've even done it where if I want a smoother morning, I'll get it all ready to do the night before.
Uh-huh.
And then I put it in the refrigerator and take it out and fry it up in the morning.
Yeah. Does it bring back memories of your mom, even though you've altered the recipe?
Well, my mother and my grandmother.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And would they make it for the whole family?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
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 And I especially remember one of my grandmothers who lived with us periodically during the year. She would make matzah meal pancakes,
Mm-hmm.
not with regular matzah, but with matzah meal. And that she would make special for us if we wanted her to.
Right.
So I just have fond memories of
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah.
her with a tickle. I think what happened I never knew it as a kid, but I think she got migraine headaches. And so she had these plain white cotton dish towels that she would soak in cold water. And then she would wrap it around her head.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So would she ever be cooking and doing that at the same time
well, she'd have it wrapped around already.
while she was cooking? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. That's strange. Yeah.
I have a question not about this recipe, but about making chicken soup. And I was wondering who else uses chicken feet to make chicken soup. Does anybody?
I didn't, and talking about matzah, Marilyn was talking about her grandma and her mother. But for some reason, I think matzah really brings memories of my father, even though my mother taught me how to make it. My father's the one who liked to eat it. And when I started to cook, the simplest recipes that I had, one of them was making this recipe of matzah, except I don't think I put in spinach for him. And I think one of the things he really liked was fried bologna and fried salami. Usually we put it on the side, but my sister informed me that she liked it mixed in with the fried matzah. So she would do that.
Did you eat it for breakfast, Paul? The savory?
Yeah, mostly for breakfast, yeah.
And did you put anything on it? Any kind
Salt.
of salt?
So we would save the salt for when we went to the table because everybody likes it a little bit differently. So we would put the salt at the end. And usually it would be me and my dad would be sitting at the chair by the window waiting for me to cook. He was not a very good cook. And so he was happy to let me cook breakfast or whatever. And there was only one time where he cooked with me. And I could tell you, after I tell you the story, you'll understand why it was just one time. We were making breakfast and I was making a regular omelet, and he really liked regular omelets with, lots of vegetables and maybe some meat and stuff like that. And I would make it and flip it over and make it look really nice. And he, was kind of in my way in the kitchen and asking me if I wanted him to do anything. And we were making sausages. And I said, yeah, you flip the sausages and then go sit down. So we flipped the sausages. And then when I went to serve the sausages, I remember knocking over the spatula, but not even thinking about it. And then I brought the omelet and the sausages to the table. And I was pleasantly surprised that it looked like he melted a little bit of cheese on the omelet or something else. And it turned out to be the plastic spatula that had melted. Because I put it in my mouth and I started chewing it, and it was very hard. And I thought, could the cheese be this hard? And did he really want cheese on the omelet? He didn't keep kosher, so I didn't think anything about eating with sausages. But
you complain, Paul? Did you complain, or did you not say anything?
I didn't say a word. I just put it aside, and that was the last time I asked him to help me with breakfast.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
That's a very good story.
Yeah. So Dave, were you inspired? Are you going to cook some?
I'm going to, definitely, because I do have leftover matzah, and I was wondering what to do with it, because I love matzah pie, but I've never made it. Now I will have to try it.
So who made it for you?
My Estelle or my mother.
Okay.
The women always did the cooking. Men, I come from a family where men did nothing like that. Men were allowed to sit in the kitchen and eat. That's the only thing a man was allowed in the kitchen for.
Yeah.
Men were not allowed to cook. And I figured that's normal.
Yeah.
65 years I was married, and for 65 years Estelle cooked every single meal. I mean, just think of 65 years of cooking.
Yeah.
That was a fabulous woman.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
Very talented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how she put up with me for 65, I'll never figure. I mean, I sat at the table and waited. That's the only thing I did was wait.
Yeah.
And eat.
You help clean up, though, David?
Oh, yes. I was in charge of cleaning. Yeah. I washed the dishes. I mean, the only thing I can do in the kitchen outside of a breakfast cereal in the morning is I can make ice. That's about my talent. I can make ice. I know how to handle water, but I've learned how to burn it though. So I mean, kitchens are not my forte, but I'll have to learn. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my parents were married 66 years, and my dad, other than melting the spatula, and I don't know if he did any other thing, shenanigans, but that's all he did, and that worked out fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was also, I used to tease him because he got his undergraduate degree in diesel engineering, but somehow he never figured out how to use the washing machine. Baffled him. Figure it out. He claims he couldn't figure it out. So
well, that's another one of my jobs. I never put the stuff in the washing machine, but I took it out of the dryer.
yeah.
Multi-talented, Dave.
Yes, but I was a very, very unuseful household person. You know, I could change light bulbs, I could fix this and that, but nothing household wise. You know,
I
was
made
I was not a
that deal with
Huh?
my colleagues all through college that I would do the cooking as long as they did the dishes, and I thought that was an okay deal because I
Yeah.
liked the cooking. So
Yeah, that was my problem when I went to college and I rented an apartment. The first thing I had to do was to go out and buy food. And what kind of food could I buy? So I bought infant food because I knew I'd get nourishment. And I bought, that's what I lived on. You know?
So what about now, Dave? Do you do some of your own food prep?
I make breakfast with cereal or oatmeal, and I make lunch with salad. I buy all kinds. I mean, my son-in-law Gary does all the shopping, and I just tell him buy tomatoes and lettuce and carrots and stuff, and I make a salad, and I get Meals on Wheels for dinner.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I don't recommend Meals on Wheels. I mean, they say they're lifesavers. I can't live without them, but they're not. It's not the best diet in the world. It's a lot of meat and potatoes. If you wanted to be a vegetarian, you could not go there. So, but I love them because they give me a meal every day. You know.
Do you have any
And
choices? Do you have choices with the meal?
no, you don't get choices. They give you the menu for the month. They show you what they're going to give you every night. And there are sometimes I say no, and I ask my daughter, and she'll invite me over, and I'll have dinner there. I have dinner there at least once or twice a week. Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.